Welcome to Eat, Sleep, Anime, the show, where one host is the Shadow King and the other is a gnome. My name is Zach, and I'm joined along by Derek. Derek, how's it going, my man?
Good, man. Like, first recording of 2025 for Eat, Sleep, Anime, man.
I
Like,
know,
and
dude. I'm
and what a
so
good
stoked.
time to pick a good first recording.
I know. Solo leveling, Ari coming out. It's cooking with grease. Man, I am so stoked
They
for
ain't
the
resting on
show.
their 5-gallon bucket. They coming out hot already.
Yeah, swinging, man. They coming out swinging with this thing. So this is our episode 1 review impressions, however you want to spin this thing.
Of
Derek,
season 2.
of season 2. Derek, like, give me just kind of like, what did you think about episode 1 of season 2?
So again, like I said, they're not resting on their 5-gallon bucket. They're coming out and being like, oh, like, yes, and it starts off like quaint, quiet, like he's going to a parent teacher conference for Jenna in the beginning. And like again, this is the first time he's gone there, like during school hours, where he's been after he's leveled up, and all the people are looking at him like, oh man, that dude's kind of cute, like he's like the toast of the school and everything. And then it's like, all right, now this person, and I forget who she was. I know she was part of a party in season 1.
She was
Um,
part of their party when they were like raiding the
and
C
like in
rank dungeons.
the beginning.
No, not the
No.
beginning when he's getting paid to like raid
Oh,
dungeons
got
and
you.
they're the
Okay.
ones like just standing outside.
Yeah. So and then it kicks off, and then it's like immediately stuff goes sideways a bit. Like they don't
Yeah.
even wait for you to like get through the portal to the dungeon. It's like, nope, we already gonna mess with you this time. And just the stakes are already kicking off, high on this raid. Again, it's not like just like the episode 1, it ain't going pretty from the jump. Like it's gonna have some things happening. So, but again, Gino being Gino, he's a boss, and already like he's still like incognito. He's trying to hide because stuff like the reawakening is not fairly known, and some people know about it in the organizations, but it's not widely known. So he's just like, oh, I'm just an E-rank hunter, like playing that card, and immediately people are like, yeah, I don't think you're an E-rank, man. Like you move way too fast and fluid to be an E-rank.
Yeah, and like the introduction of one of the guilds, the White Tiger Guild,
Yes.
that we see here, like they're going on this raid and everything. It's supposed to be pretty easy, like C rank raid or whatever. And then it turns
And yeah, it's like
into
filled with a bunch of A and B rankers.
yeah, and it's like they're just training, they're new and all of this. And it's like, okay, this will be a good because his whole point is to like try to get this kid to see, hey, you're an E rank.
Yeah.
You are going to die here. I almost died here. He's not given the backstory and everything, but it's like I'm going to show you how bad this job actually
Yeah.
is, so you'll finish school. Great motivation, like
Correct.
he's trying to be a good guy here,
Right.
but then the gate turns red and I'm like, what does this mean?
Yeah, like
And
this is something we haven't seen yet.
yeah, and it locking down the gate and being somewhere totally different than what it was originally intended to. And then we see this new like beast, these new enemies being
Right.
the ice elves or the ice slayers, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, that's so flipping metal.
Yeah.
And
And like
right
he
out the
knew,
gate,
and like because they're in an opening, and like that opening shot is like, oh, they're gonna just rain down arrows, and Genu sees it, and he's just like holds it, his arms freezing and whatnot. I'm like, boss, like, and
yeah,
someone in the other party already dies, like,
yeah, gets shot right in the eyes, and like he saves the girl that he brought with him,
mhm,
and he's like they're targeting
the weakest
the
ones.
weak.
Which also
And
says something about Genu, because again, and talk about like how he's like, oh, I'm E rank, and it's like everyone's like, no, you're not. Like, if you're E rank, you would have been shot right there with him, like because he's E rank, but he's not E rank. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, he's much stronger than an average E rank, and the elves even know it.
yeah, and this world being different than like our normal dungeons, and like you said, you brought up like last season episode 1 we got the double dungeon,
Yeah,
and it's like this is another instance of like something's off, something's
yeah,
going on more than we're being led on to. And Genu being the player essentially opens up some really interesting things here.
Yes.
But dude, like the animation is so good in this episode, man.
Mhm.
It like we see like these snow bears, this party splits up because the A rank dude is like, I'm gonna go, like I don't
I'll
want the
say,
weak
"I'll
people and
figure
all
it
that.
out," and then he thinks he's taking him on the safer path. Like, it's like, "Oh, if
Yeah,
ice bears," and then we see because they were initially run into ice bears too, and then Genu's party runs into ice bears, and he's like, he actually analyzes his surroundings, and he's like, "Take a look at this. They're marking their territory. Like, obviously, if they're this deep in the forest, nothing else will come out here and challenge them. We're good. We are
yeah.
good. Like, if ice bears are the worst thing we have to deal with, we're fine. It's the other party that is screwed."
Yeah, it's like I'd rather deal with ice bears that don't have like
Brains.
brains, critical thinking skills. I'd rather face them than the ice slayers,
Yeah.
which have, like they're very dangerous. And him like pulling out all the coats, like the things that and people are like, what in the world is going
Right.
on?
It's like E ranks can't do summoning. Like, what is this?
And I loved where he was like, "Do not ask me questions." He's
Thank
like,
you.
that is the one rule." He's like, "You do not ask me questions, and you do not ask me for favors." And I was like, "All right,
Well, also, and he knows, like, again, Genu knows, like, how this system is working is not widely known. Like, not everyone
yeah,
supposedly has this, that we know of. And he's like, the less people know, because he knows eventually people are going to come looking for, like, asking
hmm
questions, like, because the higher ups are already starting to question him and be
yep,
suspicious of him. He's like, the less people know, the better off, because then they become targets and like held leverage used against me, if it when it comes
hmm
down to it. So he's smart in that situation. He's just like, y'all don't even worry about it, because either y'all gonna die and it's gonna be useless for you to know anyway, or you're gonna be used as leverage against me, and I don't want that.
yeah." Or you're gonna turn on me,
That
and
too.
then the systems go like, "Hey, you got to kill him." You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right.
It's like let's not waste our energy
And we
here.
already saw how that worked in episode 6 of season 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, let's just not play around here.
Yeah.
Let's just try to survive. But the last part of this thing is we finally see because the very end of season one, we saw him get the ability to be a necromancer, be like
Correct.
the high king, whatever. I can't remember the specific thing,
The Shadow King.
and Shadow King, and we finally get to see it in action
Yes.
here.
Oh my gosh. I am Legion, for we are many.
Yeah, and like the way they just come out of his shadow and take on the horde of ice bears. Oh
Yeah.
my god, it was so cool.
Well, and he was kind of like toying, or because, you know, each new ability he learns, he's trying to figure out what the strengths and weaknesses of it. And he's like, and he's just kind of like reviving them freely. But as we see, it severely depletes his mana. And he's like,
Yep.
all right, let me test it. And then pretty much when the alpha ice bear comes of the den comes out, he marks everything. Is like, he doesn't kill them. He just like, I can't bring them back. I don't have MP left. And then Egress, the head of the Shadow Army, comes out, and he just like goes to town on that bear. Like, and even Gino recognized, like, there again, Gino, like, he we saw in episode 1, like, yes, he was weak, he was pathetic, he had no much in the way of skill, but his analytical analysis was so above the rest of everyone else, because the when you're stronger, you get kind of full on power drunk, essentially.
Yep.
But Genu knows that he is weak, so he's got to have something to add of value. And he just keeps on analyzing this, and he sees Egress just go to town on this alpha bear, and he's just like, man, if it wasn't for some quick thinking of mine and whatnot, like, I would have died to this man when I was fighting the Shadow Army at the end of season 1. Like, I'm kind of glad, because, and he still might be stronger than I am. I don't know yet. Like, at my current level, we probably at best equals.
Yeah. If Egress would have used his sword, because like that was one thing, like he was like, all right, I'm not going to use weapons. I'm going to just have to use my hands. And Egress, being a knight, having chivalry, he's like, oh, well, I won't use my sword. And it's like, man, if he would have used that sword, I would have been dead.
Yep.
And like this sets up an interesting thing within the universe is like this red gate and everything.
Hmm.
Like, why is this happening? Why are all of these weird things happening to Genu?
Right, like this,
And
and it's like it wasn't. He wasn't even fully through the portal. Like he had just stepped in and went like red. And again, it says like it happens, and you can't leave unless you can trek all the way back from where. But who knows where you are if you're not familiar with the land. But also, it's like you can't come back until you kill the boss of of that dungeon. So, and who knows how long that would take because they're already fighting two different enemy factions. Um, Off the bat. So again, like you said, why does this keep happening to Genu? It's like almost like the system is like testing him, or just basically like using him as pretty much like a leveling system, like or like a tester. It's like, hey, fix these bugs, like
yeah, and like you think about it because it's like either you have to defeat everything or you have to wait until the gate, like it's a dungeon break. And with a red, like a rank that high, it would take weeks on the inside to months before they would be able to open it and everything. And
yeah,
on the outside, we get a very interesting thing happening because
yeah,
in the last season we have a hunter that is killing party members. Him and his team are killing party members because they don't want to split loot.
correct,
And we have his brother, which is a rank S,
yeah.
that has come back to Korea to deal with Genu.
And it's crazy because now again, like it's going to be a 13 episode season, so in shorter seasons you kind of have to speed up the plot a little bit, like you can't drag it on too long or end it on a cliffhanger. But the fact that we already see the brother land in Korea and already almost come up, like catch up to Genu in episode 1 is crazy, which means after they get out of this whatever weird dungeon, he's going to be the focal point for the sheet for the show.
Dude, I am so excited for where this is going. Episode 2, you haven't watched it yet. Episode 2
Mm-mm.
is great. And guys, we want to know your thoughts and opinions on solo leveling. Let them pop them down in the chat, because I think this show is only going up from here.
Hmm.
Because man, it started out strong, and knowing the material that it's going to be covering, it is going to be so awesome.
Yeah, can't wait.
Guys, make sure to hit that like button and stay tuned to more awesome Eat Sleep anime content here on the Nerd Cave. This has been Zach.
And Derek.
Y'all blessed week. Bye bye.